Captain Daniel Wright stood at the bridge of the Starlight Runner, his hands clasped tightly behind his back. Through the large view screen, he watched as 4 alien ships with sleek, curved hulls surrounded his vessel. The ships belonged to the Zelnar, one of the most powerful species in the Galactic Council. Their presence meant only one thing. The Council had made its decision about humanity. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the lead Zelnar ship," said Communications Officer Ryan Kelly, his voice tight with tension. Daniel nodded. "Put it through." The screen flickered, revealing the blue-skinned face of a Zelnar commander. The alien's 4 eyes blinked in sequence before it spoke. "Captain Wright of Earth vessel Starlight Runner. By order of the Galactic Council, all human ships are to return to their solar system immediately. The Council has voted unanimously to quarantine Earth and all human colonies. You are to follow our escort back to your system's boundaries." Daniel felt his heart sink, but he kept his face carefully blank. "May I ask on what grounds this decision was made? Your species has been deemed too unpredictable, too violent, and too resilient to join the interstellar community at this time," the Zelnar replied coldly. "The Council has spoken. There is no appeal." When the screen went dark, Lisa Carpenter, his second-in-command, moved to stand beside him. She was a tall woman with short brown hair and eyes that missed nothing. "They fear what they don't understand," she muttered, watching the beautiful blue marble of Earth grow larger through the view screen as they were escorted back. Daniel sighed. "Maybe they're right to fear us. Or maybe they just don't know us." "Well enough," Lisa countered. News of the quarantine spread quickly across Earth and its colonies. In cities around the world, people gathered in public squares, their faces turned up to giant screens broadcasting the Council's decision. Some reacted with anger, others with fear. Many simply stood in stunned silence. In the United Earth Government, emergency session in Geneva, representatives from every nation and off-world colony gathered to discuss the Council's decision. The large chamber buzzed with worried voices and heated arguments. Admiral Patricia Miller strode to the podium, her gray uniform crisp, and her silver hair pulled back in a tight bun. At 62 years old, she had seen humanity reach for the stars and make first contact. Now she watched as those same stars were placed beyond their reach. "Order, please," she said, her voice cutting through the noise. When the room quieted, she continued. "The facts are simple. The Galactic Council has quarantined our species to our solar system. Any human vessel attempting to travel beyond Pluto's orbit will be destroyed." A representative from the Mars colony stood up. "This is an outrage. We've done nothing to deserve this." "Actually," Admiral Miller replied, "from their perspective, we've done everything to deserve this. Our history is filled with war. Our literature glorifies combat. Even our greatest achievements were often born from conflict." She brought up a holographic display showing Council documents that human intelligence officers had managed to obtain. According to these reports, the Council species are particularly disturbed by certain human traits: our adaptability to different environments, our ability to endure pain and hardship, our technological progress, which they consider unnaturally rapid. She scrolled through more documents. They note with alarm that humans can survive in environments that would kill most Council species, that we continue to function even after severe injury, that we view death with a combination of acceptance and defiance that they find unsettling. The room fell silent as everyone considered her words. "We've been contained, not defeated," she finally stated firmly. "They've given us our solar system as a prison, but we will make it our kingdom." In Houston, Sam Bennett watched the broadcast from his small apartment. The 35-year-old cultural anthropologist specialized in non-human civilizations, studying the limited information humanity had gathered during their brief time in the galactic community. Sam's apartment walls were covered with charts comparing different alien species' cultural values. Books and digital tablets filled every available surface. He had devoted his life to understanding the aliens who now rejected humanity. "They've got us all wrong," he muttered to himself, running a hand through his curly black hair. His phone rang. When he answered, the worried face of his research partner, Natalie Powell, appeared on the screen. "Did you see the announcement?" she asked. "I did," Sam replied. "It's exactly what we feared might happen. The council species don't understand humans at all." Natalie nodded, her expression grim. "What do we do now?" "Now," Sam said, turning to look at his research materials, "we find a way to change their minds." Over the next few days, as humanity adjusted to the new reality of their confinement, Sam barely left his apartment. He pored over the limited data available on council species, searching for some insight, some angle they had missed. There had to be a way to make the aliens understand humanity. Meanwhile, ships from all over the galaxy returned human explorers, diplomats, and traders to Earth. Each day, the space around Earth grew more crowded with returning vessels. And beyond, the orbit of Pluto, council ships patrolled, ensuring the quarantine remained unbroken. 1 week after the announcement, Daniel Wright stood in Admiral Miller's office in the United Earth Government headquarters. Through the window, he could see the sprawling city of Geneva, beautiful and peaceful under the summer sun. "You wanted to see me, Admiral?" he asked. Admiral Miller nodded. "Captain Wright, I've read your reports about your encounters with the council species. You've spent more time among them than most humans." "Yes, ma'am." "Tell me something that's not in the reports. Tell me what they're really like." Daniel thought for a moment. "They're cautious, ma'am. Most council species live for hundreds of years. They make decisions slowly. They value stability above all else, and humans are anything but stable," Miller said with a small smile. "We make them nervous," Daniel agreed. "We heal too quickly. We adapt too readily. We take risks they would never consider, and we develop technology at a pace they find alarming." "Admiral," Miller turned to look out the window. "So they locked us in our solar system like a dangerous animal in a cage. I believe they truly think it's for the best, for them and for the galaxy." "And what do you think, Captain?" Daniel straightened his shoulders. "I think they made a mistake, ma'am. Humanity won't stay contained forever. It's not in our nature." "No," she agreed. "It's not." She turned back to face him. "Which is why I'm putting together a special team. We need to understand the council better than they understand us. We need to find a way to change their minds." "Count me in," Daniel said without hesitation. As Daniel left the Admiral's office, he looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, beyond the blue, beyond even the distant stars visible at night, was a boundary humanity was now forbidden to cross. But boundaries throughout human history had always been temporary things. The Council had banned humanity today. But tomorrow? Tomorrow might tell a different story. 3 years passed since the Galactic Council banned humanity from traveling beyond their solar system. Earth and its colonies had changed in that time. What began as anger and despair slowly turned into determination and innovation. Dr. Olivia Grant stood in her lab on the Armstrong Research Station, located on the far side of the moon. Through the large window, she could see the stars without Earth's light pollution. Somewhere out there was the rest of the galaxy, still off limits to humanity. Olivia was 41 years old with dark skin and intelligent eyes that missed nothing. Before the ban, she had specialized in alien technology. Now, she was one of the top scientists trying to understand the council species better. "Are you still working?" asked Dr. Alan Rodriguez as he entered the lab. Alan was her colleague and friend, a shorter man with a kind face who often brought her coffee when she worked late. "I think I found something," Olivia said, not looking up from the alien device on her workbench. It was a communication tool recovered from a Zelnar ship that had crashed on Mars years ago. Alan placed a cup of coffee next to her and looked at the device. "What is it?" Olivia finally looked up, excitement clear in her eyes. "The council species don't just communicate with words. They transmit emotional signatures alongside their speech." "Emotional signatures?" Alan repeated, confused. "Yes. Look. Here." She pointed to her computer screen, which showed complex wave patterns. "When they talk, they also send out signals that carry emotional content. It's like body language, but much more complex and precise." Alan leaned in closer. "And we can't detect these signals?" Not naturally, no. Our brains aren't wired to pick them up. Olivia took a sip of coffee. But we can record them, analyze them, and maybe even reproduce them. They think we're emotionally primitive, she continued, excitement growing in her voice. But what if we could show them emotions they've never experienced, human emotions they don't understand? Alan's eyes widened as he realized what she was suggesting. You think we could use this to communicate with the council? To change their minds about us? It's worth trying, Olivia said. I need to run more tests, but this could be the breakthrough we've been looking for. While Olivia worked on the moon, humans across the solar system adapted to life under quarantine. On Mars, huge dome cities expanded across the red planet's surface. Engineers found ways to create better air recycling systems and grow more food in the harsh Martian soil. The moons of Jupiter and Saturn became industrial centers, with factories and mining operations extracting valuable resources. Ships traveled between Earth, Mars, and the outer planets carrying people and goods. The asteroid belt, once just a mining frontier, now housed thousands of people in rotating habitat stations. Earth itself changed too. Without access to the wider galaxy, humans turned their innovative spirit inward. New technologies made life better. Clean energy replaced old polluting methods. Cities grew upward instead of outward, with garden spaces on every level. Admiral Miller, now the Secretary General of the United Earth Government, worked to keep humanity united and focused. We may be contained, she often said in her speeches, but we are not defeated. On Ganymede, the largest moon of Jupiter, Sam Bennett had established a small research station. His wall of alien cultural analysis had grown into an entire research facility where he and a team of anthropologists studied everything known about the council species. Sam stood in his office, surrounded by screens showing various alien species and their cultural traits. Natalie Powell, now his research partner on Ganymede, entered the room with new data from Earth. I got the latest reports from Admiral Miller's office, she said, handing him a tablet. Dr. Grant on the moon thinks she's found something important about council communication. Sam read through the report quickly, his excitement growing. This could be exactly what we need, he said. If they communicate partially through emotional signatures, it explains why they misunderstand us so badly. He walked to a large screen showing footage gathered before the ban. It showed council species interacting with humans, their body language clearly uncomfortable and guarded. They can't read our emotional signals and we can't read theirs, Sam explained. We've been talking different languages even when using the same words. Natalie nodded slowly. So how do we fix it? Sam thought for a moment, then smiled. We show them who we really are, in a way they can understand. Over the next few months, Sam began collecting videos from across human history and the solar system. Not the grand achievements of space exploration or technological innovation, but simple, everyday moments that defined humanity. A mother comforting her child after a nightmare. Strangers helping each other after disasters. Friends laughing together over meals. Nurses caring for the sick. Firefighters running into burning buildings. Veterans from opposite sides of old wars meeting in peace. Children from different countries playing together. The council sees us as dangerous because they focus on our capacity for violence, he explained to Natalie as they reviewed the growing collection. But what if they saw what makes that capacity worthwhile? What we fight to protect? One day, as they worked, an urgent message came through from Admiral Miller's office. Sam answered the call and Admiral Miller's face appeared on screen. Mr. Bennett, she said formally. I understand you've been collecting human emotional experiences. Yes. Ma'am, Sam replied. I believe if we can show the council who we really are. Dr. Grant has made significant progress in translating human emotions into signals the council species can understand. Admiral Miller interrupted. She believes we could enhance video footage with these emotional signatures. Sam's eyes widened. That's exactly what I've been working toward. I know, Admiral Miller said with a small smile. That's why I'm calling. I want you to bring your work to Earth immediately. We're putting together a special team." "What kind of team?" Sam asked. "The kind that might change the Council's mind about humanity," she replied. "Captain Wright will be there too. He's been working on Council psychology from a different angle." After the call ended, Natalie looked at Sam with excitement. This could really work, couldn't it? Sam looked at the screens around them, each showing moments of human courage, love, and compassion. "It has to," he said quietly, "because the Council needs to understand that our greatest strength isn't our ability to fight." He touched a screen showing a father teaching his daughter to ride a bicycle, both laughing as she wobbled forward. "It's our ability to care." Kiwi. Weeks later, Sam arrived on Earth with his collected footage. As his shuttle descended toward the Geneva spaceport, he looked out the window at the blue planet below. Somewhere out in the galaxy, alien species feared what humans might do if let loose among the stars. Soon, if their plan worked, those same aliens would see what humanity truly was, not just their capacity for violence, but their even greater capacity for love. The United Earth Government headquarters in Geneva buzzed with activity. 5 years had passed since the Galactic Council had confined humanity to their solar system. In a secure conference room deep within the building, Admiral Patricia Miller, now Secretary General of the United Earth Government, called a special meeting to order. Around the oval table sat the people she believed could change humanity's future. Captain Daniel Wright, now Commander of Earth's Defense Fleet, Dr. Olivia Grant, Head of Alien Technology Research, Dr. Alan Rodriguez, Specialist in Xenobiology, Sam Bennett, Cultural Anthropologist, and Natalie Powell, Communications Expert. "Thank you all for coming," Admiral Miller said, her voice firm, despite her now 67 years. "What we discuss today doesn't leave this room." She pressed a button, and the windows darkened. A holographic display appeared above the table showing the boundary at the edge of the solar system, where Council ships patrolled. "For 5 years we've respected the Council's quarantine," she continued. "We've built our civilization within the confines of our solar system. But it's time to change the Council's perception of humanity." She nodded to Dr. Grant, who stood and adjusted her glasses. "As you know, I've been studying Council communication methods," Olivia explained. "Their species don't just communicate with words, they transmit emotional signatures that give context to their speech." She brought up diagrams showing complex wave patterns. "We've managed to decode these signatures and, more importantly, we can now create our own." Sam leaned forward, his eyes bright with interest. "So we could enhance my video compilation with these emotional signatures?" "Exactly," Olivia confirmed. "Your collection shows humanity's true nature, our capacity for love, sacrifice, and compassion. With my technology, we can make sure Council species feel these emotions, not just see images." "Which brings us to our plan," Admiral Miller said, taking control of the meeting again. "We have one chance to change the Council's perception." She looked at each person around the table. "We're going to send a message directly to the heart of Council space." Daniel Wright frowned. "The quarantine is heavily enforced. Any human ship crossing the boundary would be destroyed immediately." Admiral Miller nodded. "That's why we won't send humans." She pressed another button, and the hologram changed to show a small, sleek spacecraft. "This is the Emissary. It's our most advanced vessel, completely automated with our newest AI system. The ship will carry Sam's video compilation, enhanced with Dr. Grant's emotional signature technology," she explained. "It will deliver our message directly to Nexus Station, the Council's diplomatic hub." Natalie looked concerned. Even an unmanned ship would likely be shot down before reaching Council space. "Not with the stealth technology we've developed during the isolation years," Dr. Rodriguez said, speaking up for the first time. "The Emissary can pass through the quarantine line undetected. By the time they notice it, it will already be approaching Nexus Station." Sam sat back in his chair, thinking. "This isn't about technological superiority," he said slowly. "It's about showing them what they can't understand from a distance. We need to select the right moments, the perfect examples of humanity." For the next several hours, the team worked through the details of the plan. They reviewed Sam's footage collection, selecting the most powerful moments that showcased humanity's true nature. They chose scenes of parents protecting their children, strangers rushing into danger to save others, communities rebuilding after disasters, and moments of forgiveness between former enemies. "We need to show them the connection," Sam explained as they worked. "The connection between our capacity for violence and our capacity for love. We fight because we care so deeply." Olivia demonstrated how her technology would translate these emotional states. "When council species receive this," she said, showing a simulation of the enhanced video, "they won't just see humans being brave or compassionate. They'll feel our emotions directly." As evening fell, Admiral Miller looked around the table at her team. "This plan carries significant risk," she said frankly. "If the Council views this as an attack or an invasion of their space, they could retaliate against Earth." "It's a risk we have to take," Daniel said firmly. "We can't remain isolated forever. Our population continues to grow. Eventually we'll need to expand beyond our solar system." Sam nodded in agreement. "And more than that, we deserve to be understood. Not feared or contained, but accepted for who we truly are." Admiral Miller stood, signaling the end of the meeting. "We have 3 months to prepare the emissary for launch. Dr. Grant, finalize your emotional translation technology. Sam, complete your compilation. The rest of you, prepare for all possible outcomes." As they left the conference room, Sam walked alongside Daniel. The two men had become friends during the planning sessions over the past weeks. "Do you think it will work?" Sam asked quietly. Daniel considered the question. "I've spent more time among council species than most humans. They're not evil or cruel. They're just cautious, afraid of what they don't understand. And they don't understand us at all," Sam concluded. "No, they don't. They see our history of warfare, our ability to adapt to almost any environment, our rapid technological development, and it terrifies them." Daniel paused at a window overlooking the city lights of Geneva. "But they've never really seen who we are beyond those things. That's what we're going to show them," Sam said with determination. Over the next 3 months, work on the emissary progressed rapidly. The ship was built in orbit around Earth, away from prying eyes. Dr. Grant's team perfected the emotional translation matrix, testing it on volunteers from different species who had chosen to remain on Earth after the quarantine. Sam worked tirelessly on his compilation, selecting and arranging footage to tell humanity's story in the most powerful way possible. He included not just grand moments of heroism, but quiet acts of kindness that showed the depth of human compassion. "This needs to be perfect," he told Natalie as they reviewed the final cut. "We may only get one chance." The day before the emissary's launch, Admiral Miller called Sam to her office. Outside the window, a summer storm was brewing over Geneva, dark clouds gathering on the horizon. "Are you ready, Mr. Bennett?" she asked. Sam nodded. "The compilation is complete. Dr. Grant's technology works perfectly. The message is ready to be delivered." Admiral Miller handed him a small data chip. "This is a personal message from me to the Council. Please add it to the compilation." Sam took the chip. "May Ma, I ask what it says?" "It says that we understand their fear, but that understanding must go both ways." She looked out at the gathering storm. "It says that humanity wishes to join the galactic community not to conquer or control, but to learn and contribute." Emmy pocketed the chip. "I'll make sure they hear it." The next morning, from a secret launch facility on the far side of the moon, the emissary began its journey. Small and swift, carrying no weapons but armed with the truth about humanity, it slipped past Earth's defenses and headed toward the edge of the solar system. On Earth and throughout human colonies, people went about their daily lives, unaware that a small ship was carrying a message that might change everything. Only a handful of people knew that humanity's future now rested on whether the Council could see beyond their fear and truly understand what made humans who they were. The emissary accelerated toward the boundary of human space, carrying the most powerful weapon humanity had ever created: the truth. The unmanned vessel emissary slipped through space with its advanced stealth technology, invisible to most scanning systems. Its journey from Earth had been calculated perfectly to avoid detection for as long as possible. After 3 weeks of travel, it finally crossed the boundary that humanity had been forbidden to pass for 5 years. On Earth, in the secure command center beneath Geneva, Admiral Miller and her team monitored the emissary's progress. The room was tense, filled only with the soft sounds of computer systems and occasional whispered conversations. "Emissary has crossed the boundary," announced the mission controller, her voice tight with stress. "No sign of detection yet." "Admiral," Miller nodded, her face calm despite the risk they were taking. Sam Bennett stood beside her, watching the large screen that showed the ship's position. Every person in the room knew what was at stake. If the Council viewed this mission as an act of aggression, the consequences for Earth could be severe. "How long until it reaches Nexus Station?" Sam asked quietly. "Approximately 42 hours, Daniel Wright answered from his position at the tactical display. "Assuming it maintains current speed and trajectory." Dr. Olivia Grant checked the systems, monitoring her emotional translation matrix. "The technology is functioning perfectly," she confirmed. "Once the compilation begins playing, the Council species will receive the emotional signatures along with the visual content." The hours passed slowly. The emissary continued its journey, deeper into Council space, still undetected. The team took shifts resting, though few could actually sleep. Too much depended on this mission's success. Meanwhile, at Nexus Station, the massive diplomatic hub of the Galactic Council, representatives from 17 intelligent species went about their business. The station was a marvel of alien engineering, a massive wheel-shaped structure with 17 spokes, one for each Council member species. In the Council chambers at the center of the wheel, a debate was in progress about trade regulations between 2 distant star systems. The chambers were arranged in tiered seating with each species delegation occupying a section, force fields separated areas with different atmospheric requirements, allowing all species to breathe comfortably while still seeing and hearing each other. The Zelnar delegate, Zorthal, a tall, blue-skinned being with 4 eyes arranged vertically, on his face was just finishing his argument when an alarm sounded throughout the station. "Security alert," announced the station's AI system. "Unknown vessel approaching Nexus Station. Vessel does not match any known configuration." The debate immediately halted as security feeds appeared on displays around the chamber. The emissary could be seen approaching the station, small, sleek, and clearly of human design. "It is a human vessel," Zorthal exclaimed, his voice filled with outrage. "They dare to violate the quarantine." The chamber erupted in alarmed voices and emotional signatures that humans would not have been able to detect. Security forces throughout the station went on high alert, weapons systems activated, and defensive shields raised. "Scans detect no life forms aboard," reported the security chief, a reptilian draken with scaled skin and sharp teeth. "It appears to be automated." "Destroy it immediately," ordered Zorthal. "The humans have defied our edict. This proves their untrustworthiness." But before the order could be carried out, Senior Arbiter Velian of the Etherians raised her hand. The Etherians were one of the oldest species in the Council, respected for their wisdom and fairness. Velian was tall and slender with pale, almost translucent skin and large, knowing eyes. "Let us consider this carefully," she said, her voice calm and measured. "The humans have sent an unmanned vessel. It carries no weapons. Perhaps we should determine its purpose before we destroy it." Zorthal's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of irritation among the Zelnar. "It could be carrying dangerous technology or biological agents," he argued. "Our scans detect no such threats," Velian countered. "Let us see what message they risk everything to deliver." After a heated debate, the Council voted to allow the emissary to dock at a secure, isolated section of the station. Security teams in protective suits would examine it before any message was received. Back on Earth, Admiral Miller's team received the news with cautious relief. "They're allowing the emissary to dock," Daniel announced, reading the intercepted Communications. They haven't destroyed it. That's the first hurdle cleared, Admiral Miller said. Now we have to hope they choose to view the message. On Nexus Station, security teams carefully examined the emissary. Finding no threats, they recovered a single data storage device containing Sam's compilation. In an emergency session, the Council debated whether to view the human message. It could contain harmful mind-altering content, warned Zorthal, who had originally proposed the human quarantine. Our psychic shields can protect against such attacks, replied Velian. And I find it significant that the humans would risk so much simply to deliver a message. Should we not at least hear what they have to say? After much debate, the Council agreed to view the message in a secure viewing chamber with all possible protections in place. When Sam's compilation began playing throughout the secure chamber, enhanced by Dr. Grant's emotional translation matrix, the effect was immediate and profound. For the first time, Council species experienced human emotional states directly. The compilation began with scenes from Earth, its oceans, mountains, deserts, and forests. It showed the diversity of life on the planet and humanity's place within it. Then it moved to human history, showing both the darkness of war and the light of peace that followed. The Council members witnessed a father running into a burning building to save a child, not his own. Through Dr. Grant's technology, they felt the rush of terror, the determination, the selflessness that drove him forward despite the danger. They saw astronauts sacrificing themselves to save their crews, feeling the complex mix of fear, duty, and courage that made such sacrifice possible. They experienced the profound grief at funerals for fallen soldiers and the deep pride of those who served with them, emotions that showed how deeply humans valued each life lost. Most powerfully, they saw humans protecting members of other species, caring for endangered animals, rehabilitating injured wildlife, and mourning extinct species. Dr. Grant's technology translated these moments into emotional signatures that resonated deeply with the Council members. "This is why we fight," narrated Sam's voice over footage of a diverse group of humans working together to rebuild a city after a disaster. "Not because we love violence, but because we love what we protect." The compilation showed children from different countries playing together, former enemies becoming friends, humans helping each other after natural disasters, and countless small acts of kindness that made up daily human life. "We are not perfect," Sam's narration continued over scenes of human achievement and failure. "We have made many mistakes. But we learn, we grow, we strive to be better than we were yesterday." The final sequence showed Earth from space, a small blue marble in the vastness of the universe. "We ask not for special treatment," came Admiral Miller's voice playing her personal message. "Only for understanding. We wish to join the galactic community not as conquerors, but as contributors. We have much to learn from you. Perhaps in time you may find you have something to learn from us as well." As the compilation ended, the Council chamber remained silent. For several minutes no one spoke as they processed what they had experienced, not just seen, but felt through the emotional signatures embedded in the message. Finally, Arbiter Velian broke the silence. "I believe," she said quietly, "that we may have misunderstood these humans." The Council deliberated for 7 Earth days after receiving humanity's message. During this time, on Earth and throughout the solar system, humans waited in tense silence. No one knew if their message had been received, understood, or even viewed. In Damesatum, Admiral Miller's command center, the team gathered daily for updates. On the 7th day, as they waited for news, a communication alert sounded. "We're receiving a transmission from the quarantine fleet," the communications officer announced, her voice filled with surprise. Everyone in the room froze. Admiral Miller stood straighter, her face calm despite the tension. "Put it through," she ordered. The large screen at the front of the room flickered to life, showing the face of a Zelnar commander. The blue-skinned alien looked different somehow, less cold, less rigid than humans were used to seeing from this species. "United Earth Government," the commander said formally. "I bring a message from the Galactic Council." The room was completely silent as everyone held their breath. "The quarantine fleet has received new orders," the Zelnar continued, Captain Daniel Wright and the vessel Starlight Runner are permitted to dock at Nexus Station as humanity's first official representatives. A wave of gasps and whispered exclamations swept through the command center. Admiral Miller allowed herself a small smile. "Please transmit the coordinates for the meeting," she replied calmly. 3 weeks later, the Starlight Runner approached Nexus Station. On the bridge, Captain Daniel Wright stood in his dress uniform, with Lisa Carpenter beside him. Through the view screen, they could see the massive wheel-shaped station growing larger. "I never thought I'd see this day," Lisa said quietly. Daniel nodded. "Neither did I." As the Starlight Runner docked, Daniel and his small crew prepared to be the first humans to officially set foot on Nexus Station in 5 years. They were met by a delegation led by Senior Arbiter Velian of the Etherians. "Captain Wright," she greeted him formally. "Your message has been received. We have much to discuss." The human delegation was led to the council chambers, where representatives from all 17 species waited. Some looked curious, others still suspicious, but all were attentive as Daniel addressed them. "On behalf of humanity, I thank you for this opportunity," he began. "We understand your previous concerns, but we hope our message has shown you who we truly are." Arbiter Velian nodded. "Your species is unique in our experience," she explained. "Your capacity for violence is matched only by your capacity for compassion. We fear the former, but we wish to understand the latter." The council had not fully lifted the quarantine, but they had opened diplomatic channels. Humanity would remain restricted to their solar system for now, but official representatives would be allowed to travel to council space, and a cultural exchange would begin immediately. Back on Earth, Sam Bennett received word that his compilation would be studied in council educational institutions as part of a new initiative to understand human psychology. "They still don't fully trust us," Admiral Miller acknowledged in her address to Earth citizens. The speech was broadcast throughout the solar system, to every human colony and settlement. "But they're willing to learn about us, and we have much to learn from them." In the months that followed, Captain Wright established the first human embassy on Nexus Station. Dr. Grant led a team of scientists working with council researchers to develop better emotional translation technologies. Slowly, barriers began to fall. The path forward would not be easy. Many council species remained wary of humans, and humanity chafed under the continued restrictions. But a door had been opened that could never again be fully closed. 6 months after the first meeting, Sam Bennett prepared to leave Earth as part of the first cultural delegation to council space. As he boarded the diplomatic vessel, Natalie Powell stood beside him, also selected for the mission. "Are you nervous?" she asked. Sam looked out at the stars beyond Earth's atmosphere. "A little," he admitted. "But mostly excited?" "They banned us because they saw only our capacity for destruction," he continued, turning to Natalie with a smile. "Now they'll learn about our capacity for creation." As their ship left Earth's orbit, Sam thought about the journey ahead, not just his personal journey to Nexus Station, but humanity's journey into a wider universe. The Council had banned humanity out of fear. A video had opened the door to understanding. What would come next would be written by both species together.